Hello again, everyone. Edwin Leonard back once again in this YouTube astrological segment. I should say, likely YouTube shadow band astrological segment. I'm going to be, I'm going to be talking about Jupiter square or opposition the ascendant in a natal chart. Now, some of you may remember when I first started my YouTube astrology channel, I did a series on the aspects in the natal chart. They're a little bit concise. Some people may refer to them as snappy. So what I decided to do was make another series on them in which the videos would be a little bit longer and more descriptive. So anyway, first thing up is, well, if you have Jupiter square or opposite the ascendant in a natal chart, there may be difficulty finding the exuberance and enthusiasm, which is Jupiter, for new beginnings, which is the ascendant. Now let's say if you have the ascendant in the zodiac sign Cancer as an example, new beginnings may be tied in with matters pertaining to the home and family. It could be some Cancerian-related field or profession, such as real estate, home renovation or remodeling. It could be something associated with farming or doing something like interior decoration or doing something with a laundry or plumbing business, history, nostalgia as some examples. And also, too, these aspects may not be overly lucky, fortunate, fortuitous, which is Jupiter, for matters pertaining to the physical body, which is the ascendant. And, that could, manifest in a number of ways. It could be whether it's, healing, from an injury, or there may be, maybe more, as far as, dealing, with issues, physically, they just may not be as fortunate, in general, or getting, whether it could be getting the repair for certain injuries to the physical body, getting the help that's necessary, because it does cover a number of things. And, the thing too is you may be over-optimistic in which is optimism is Jupiter, of course, and what you can do physically. I think it could also mean that there may be hard finding the optimism in doing things, physically, the ascendant is connected with the physical body. And, the thing is, if the ascendant is in Gemini, as an example, it could be, matters, with the arms, which, virtually everything is going to involve, the arms to some degree when people are, expending physical energy. A lot of physical energy expended is associated, with lifting, but it could be more emphasized, as far as Gemini goes. But the thing is, it could be, doing something, like an interest associated with the ascendant. Like, let's say if the ascendant is in Capricorn, as an example, it could be doing something like rock or mountain climbing, maybe going through an obstacle course. Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, the planet connected, with restrictions, and I would say obstacles as well. But also, too, another way these aspects may manifest in a natal chart is that in-laws and foreigners, which is Jupiter, may not be, in agreement or compatible with the qualities you naturally express, which is the ascendant. Now, if let's say if the ascendant is in Leo, as an example, qualities naturally expressed can include, being flamboyant, confident, self-assured, maybe even ostentatious, gregarious, extroverted, showy, attention-seeking, as some examples. And another thing, too, is that a grandparent and people prominent in your early childhood, which is the ascendant, may not be compatible or in agreement with your beliefs and philosophies, which is Jupiter. Now, let's say if Jupiter is in Aquarius, as an example, those philosophies and beliefs, may be ones that are unusual, eclectic, or unorthodox. You know, Jupiter and the zodiac sign Cancer may have more traditional ones and tied in, with home and family, with one's roots, one's ancestry, as some examples. Now, another thing too about Jupiter square or opposite the ascendant in the natal chart is that the environment, which is the ascendant, maybe one in which it could be difficult for you to express benevolence and goodwill, which is Jupiter, or even be involved in other Jupiterian things, whether it be religious or sports-related outdoor activities. And it may not be that there's no interest in it. It could just be something about the environment, where maybe the other people, are not up for, receiving, benevolent actions from somebody, whatever it might be, or the area is not such that it has, the opportunities for the other things I mentioned that are connected with Jupiter, such as religious or sports-related outdoor activities and things of that, nature. So, and the thing about, and if Jupiter, say, is in Gemini as an example, there may be an interest in sports-related activities that are, which may include, the quick reaction sports, such as badminton, racquetball, table tennis. Let's say, Jupiter is in Virgo as another example. It may be ones that require, more, analysis. If you want to consider chess a sport, some people see that as a game, but others may perceive that as a sport. I think it may actually be listed as a sport, but you may want to confer that on the internet. Now, another thing, too, about, these aspects, Jupiter square or opposite the ascendant in the natal chart may not be, exceptionally auspicious in terms of protection, which is Jupiter, for matters connected with the physical body, which is the ascendant. So, whether, and that could manifest in multiple ways. That could be, for example, maybe more apt to be injured, or, as far as physical related harm goes. It could be, not having, the people around you necessary, if you're involved in, say, if there's a physical confrontation, having, those friends, that would be there to give you that support, basically, in those kind of situations. And also, too, these aspects may also be expressed either lacking the optimism, I would say, which is Jupiter, or being overconfident, over-optimistic, and making, the good first impression, which is the ascendant on others. Now, if the ascendant is in Taurus, as an example, that first impression, you may try to make one that's about, being very loyal, steadfast, trustworthy, patient, persistent, persevering, calm, placid, being very, much, the same, very, reliable, and really the thing is being very stable and steady, I should say. Now, another thing, too, is that Jupiter-related people may not be, compatible in agreement with your outer demeanor, which is the ascendant, and Jupiter-related people, can encompass a number of persons. It could be those that are, could be in-laws, foreigners, people prominent in sports, or, religion, philosophy, higher education, publishing, as some examples. And if the, say if the ascendant is in Libra as an example, that outer demeanor, maybe one that's very refined, charming, diplomatic, cooperative, sociable, compromising, as some examples. And also, too, you may have trouble seeing that positive, which is Jupiter, in your outer self, which is the ascendant. Now, the thing about this is, if the ascendant is in Aries as an example, those The positive qualities could actually be, ones that are being can include being aggressive, assertive, forceful, courageous, having little or no physical fear, starting things quickly with little hesitation and procrastination, being pioneering, and also to the qualities that are connected with one's ascendant. It may not often be beneficial in terms of you attaining prosperity, which is Jupiter. Now, let's say if Jupiter is in Capricorn as an example, prosperity, if attained, may be made in, it could be business, politics, architecture, construction, carpentry, information technology, dentistry, or accounting as some examples. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, I'd remember saying stay well.